Guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for a midweek game of Super Rugby Pacific. This game was taking place initially about 4 or 5 weeks ago, but sadly, due to positive cases, it did mean that it was going to be delayed. But now they are there. They're ready to go. It is the midweek fixture, and the only thing that can come out of this game really is that if the Western Force win and then they win again next week, there's a chance that they could make their way through to the quarterfinals. So we will have to wait and see how it ends up going, but it is going to be played at Mount Smart Stadium, and it is only moments away from this game getting underway. So do let me know your score predictions in the chat as well. We have got Brandon here. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. Hope you are excited for another game of Super Rugby Pacific. It will be Moana Pasifika kicking off this one. And also, hi, says Amelia. Welcome in. Hope you are well. Also, it is going to be kicked into touch straight away by Byron Ralston. Sorry, it was actually playing at number 13 for this match rather than out on the wing like he has for the past couple of weeks. Moana Pasifika, they will have the early line out here. It's gone to the front, nicely taken. Oh, a little bit of a juggle there from Eritara Inari. They've said that it's gone forward. And because of it, does mean that it will be the scrum feed for the Western Force. And Kia ora fam, says Jefferson. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing terrific as well. And yes, Super Rugby Pacific midweek games. I think the only midweek fixtures that we have actually seen throughout the whole competition have always involved Moana Pasifika. They've been very unlucky when it comes to the positive cases for their own camp and then also for the opposition. We have got good evening as well, says Nov Mum, and also Yesh. I am doing good, and I get 17 and one of my video 2,800. And I, Kiwi Lads, are you doing any stream Thursday on my birthday? Lol, says Robert. Thursday. Oh, Thursday. I guess it depends on how much of Thursday heads into Friday, which is not really a lot, but hopefully we can have, I know that we'll have a few videos going up, Robert. But yeah, we'll see how we go. Maybe we have got some sort of stream set up for there. I know we were talking about doing a GeoGuessr one at some stage, but I think that might be next week. And also, will there be more Rugby Sevens? Says Rice. There certainly will be. London Sevens next week, or this weekend actually, will be when that one has taken place, and we will be covering that on the channel as well. It has gone down on the front row. I believe it was Chris Apua was struggling a little bit there up against the Western Forces early pressure. And also we have got the Moana 31-17. Says Dama, good evening, Kiwi Lad. Says Nathan, welcome in, mate. Hope you are also doing very well. Do let me know who you think will win this match, ladies and gentlemen. Moana Pasifika at home against the Western Force side, who have been conceding 50 points in the majority of their last few games. And also 3 a.m. is starting. Says Brandon there. And also we've got been all right, wrapped up school for the week today, and I got off tomorrow, so I'm going to spend tomorrow reading my Virgin River books. It's like a good way to spend a Wednesday. And also, of course, Rebels will be announcing their side tomorrow. Or the upcoming week is Super Rugby, and it is the last week until we get into the quarterfinals. Now 5 back from Pryor. Hanging on to this one, Byron Ralston in the midfield, 40 or so meters out, almost stolen there. Alamanda Matanga taking it cleanly, nicely done. And also, as your Tuesday beam, Moana Pasifika should win. I got 200 on them. Says Aiden there. Were they underdogs or favourites going into this match, Aiden? Because I know that this game could easily go either way. Okay, Tima Whaina Nuku actually out on the right wing for this match. And originally it was going to be Tomasi Arosio. So I assume there might be some sort of injury involved there. But now down the wing, the big man, Sione Tuipolotu, makes its way up to halfway. Eritara Inari inside pop pass at the Vaikoso Pulanaiti. Hanging on to that one, and it is still going to be on the side of Moana Pasifika morning as well. Says Betty, welcome in. Underdogs. Says 8 and also Rugby 7 Saturday at 3 a.m. to 10 a.m. And also tipping the Moana Pasifika to win this one. And Super Rugby Friday, yes, it certainly is. And hi, everyone, says Lord. Tell you what, the chat is going very quick for a Tuesday night. So it is awesome seeing you guys all here for yet again another match of Super Rugby Pacific. I think they just mentioned that there was a little bit of rain prior to the match. And I must be allergic to the rain, I guess. Hence the sneeze. But he had to come from a long way back. Andrew ready to try and clean out that breakdown. But all the way from the start of that one, Alamana Matanga had himself straight over the ball. It looks like Moana Pasifika, there's not a lot of people in attendance for this game. And I would have thought a midweek game might have done quite nicely. And also how we all, says Patty, doing very well. Other than that sneeze, I've been all right. I've been also catching up on the sleep that I missed out from last weekend. So hopefully with all that sleep caught up on, we will be able to go long and also quite often in the weekend. And also, it was raining in Arrowtown before, says Robert there. That's going to be going down on the front rows, and they will need a scrum reset now. Try and sort this one out, but it looks like Ian Pryor looking over to this near side to the touch judge. Okay, they're just going to move. It looks like it's pretty soft underfoot for this matchup. But what we will quickly do is, I think you guys have gotten used to this by now, the hay fever random mute. We will be back in just about 3 seconds. Like they're saying, the Western Force, if they do manage to qualify for the quarterfinals, they will actually have the Blues. They had a relatively close game with the Blues, I believe. 18 points to 22 in favour of the Blues, but now good round forward from Moana Pasifika. And I believe they are still playing under advantage here for the Western Force. Moving up to 40 metres out, Jeremy Thrush was the super sub last week. Trying to duck under that one was Jake McIntyre, and they're going back for the initial penalty and really tired. So I'm just glad school is done for the week, says Amelia. And also, I'm being in bed on Monday. So Monday, nothing for me. And today I woke up at 6:50 p.m. So no bedness. And there's did the Reds qualify? Says Robert, they have qualified. They are in the top 8. And it's just the question of whether or not they will be qualifying. And I think it's 5th or lower at this point. But no matter what, they are in the top 8. So we will have to wait and see who they go up head-to-head with in the next round. I don't think hay fever existed midweek. And big love, you sexy devils. Come on, Moana, says Sebastian. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. Oh, Western Force now moving themselves up to only 15 metres out from the line, and it's looking dangerous for them. Oh, that one bounced off the foot of Fergus Lee Warner and popped up beautifully into his hands. So no worries there for them now. Pryor going back across Rishan Pasatoa, short ball to Richard Kahui, who easily could have found himself in that classic All Blacks match the other day, but still active in the professional rugby scene. Rush defence there. Still finding the offload there from Tony Pulu. And at the moment, the Western Force, they win the penalty straight out in front. Who's going to win the comp, says Tama. At the moment, for me, it's probably Crusaders or Blues. It's going to be a tricky one for either side. They've got to make sure that they continue that momentum. But the Blues, losing Rico Ioane and Caleb Clark to injury, might concern them just a little bit heading into the finals. Monday wake-up call sucks, says Amelia. And also, I have a question for you, Hamish. What is your favourite day at school? My favourite day at school was probably Saturday because there was no school. Fridays are normally pretty good because you get to do electives, as we called them here. So we pretty much got to go out onto the field and just smash golf balls as far as we could for about an hour. And they were fine with it because it was the elective. It was the golf elective. So they were just hit the ball. Unfortunately for them, I probably hit it further than a lot of people, so they ended up having to look through the trees for a majority of them once we did get near the end of the session. That's a try for Andrew Reddy, and it is going to be the Western Force scoring themselves the first try of this match. Nicely done. And also, hey, Irish, how's your night so far, says Ali Fresh. It's been all right. I haven't really done much sneezing up until this live stream started. So I guess the timing was a bit unfortunate for me to start sneezing, but timing's pretty good for the Western Force with the rolling maul. They have gone in and they have scored the first try of the match. There you go. And Blues will get Rico back soon. Caleb will be back in time for the final, says Jefferson there. 9 miles is going for 900. Says Brandon, that is on the Kiwi Lad Sport channel. We are getting very close. A big love, Patty. And Rob, says Sebastian. And also, Novmum has got Blues have secured top spot, even if they lose this week. Yep, so they've got the home final at Eden Park. And also, theoretically, they can have home finals all the way through to the final if they get it right. And yeah, Fridays were amazing because of the anticipation of the weekend. Sometimes the anticipation of it was better than the actual thing. Yeah. All priors missed out to the left-hand side. So the score now will remain at 5-0 in favour of the Western Force. But yeah, it's an interesting one because, like, I don't know why. Well, like, our electives, they were only when we got to the later stages of being at school. But then everyone from about year 9 upwards got to actually do the electives type thing. So I know that one of them that I did, believe it or not, which actually kind of makes sense now, was radio. And at the time, it was just pretty much because there was nothing really else. And they were like, you can either do English, maths, science, or radio. And I was like, well, I don't know what one will be easiest. We'll just go with the radio. And I think George, Daniel, and Isaac all chose radio as well, because the teacher had like big plans of setting up a whole radio station in our small town. Never happened. I think he might have been thinking too big for the amount of time that we get, because you got like an hour a week to be able to try and set it up. Nicely done now. And it was Maroni Nyakuru. It's a penalty to Moana Pasifika. And also, we haven't been to school this week because I'm 6 years early, fresh play. So hopefully you do end up recovering relatively quickly. And Fridays were amazing days at school. And also, hi guys. Says Obi, welcome in, mate. Hey, Hamish, who's starting 15 for the ABs? Oh, who's starting at 15 for the ABs? Says Lord, for me, you're probably still Geordie Barrett. But I know that Will Jordan's putting his name up there. And then maybe as a third option, you got Stephen Perafeta, since they don't actually have, they won't actually have Mackenzie, will they? I went for the draw. And then says Obi, there is a big possibility that this match could be extremely close near the end of the match. Taken nicely by Nakuru. Now getting driven backwards in their rolling maul here. Moana Pasifika 11 minutes in, and they have lost about probably 15 meters or so. Get ready to use. They're going to have to use it soon. Oh, it's an advantage. Jeremy Thrush ended up hugging everyone from the side. You are not allowed to do that. Now Lincoln McClutchy has gone down around the side. Tima Whaiananuku gets a leg drive going, and he's going big time. And Tima Whaiananuku, the late inclusion into the lineup for Moana Pasifika, has just gone in for his first try of the match. And you've got to have both Geordie and Will in the squad, exactly right. Like, for me, if you're not starting Geordie Barrett, he is one of the guys who you have off the bench. Will Jordan is probably a little bit more of a, like, you can afford not to have him on the bench, but that's if you've got a fly half cover, such as Beauden Barrett, who can actually slot into fullback, worst comes to worst. Or maybe, that's the thing, I'm trying to work out who they're going to have on their wings, because you would think it's going to be Severis on one wing, and then, like, other than him, who else is actually secured on the wing? Because George Bridge, people have said for a while, maybe he's not going to make his way in. And then you've also got the other side of things, which is like whether or not they do slot the likes of Rico Ioane. Does he go out on the wing? Caleb Clark, will he be going back into the team? Lester Whaiananuku, is he going to get a look in this year? And also Joe Biden. And there's us, says Obi, and also Chai, says Sebastian, and also we have got there. Also, Let's Go Moana says it was Nathan, and yes, says Nazi Williams. And Hamish, how much league matches or more league matches until the playoffs? So this one is the 7th last game. We've got one more round, which is this weekend, of teams playing off. And then after we get through that, we are into the quarterfinals the week after, where we do get to see the 4 matches. And Brandon, I haven't been on your live streams for a while. Says it was a Robert there. Lincoln McClutchy hanging on to this ball just outside of the 22 wide ball now. It's going to be in the hands of Tuitavuki, trying to get a bit of space. In fact, it wasn't Tuitavuki. It was actually Naria Whamai. I believe Tuitavuki actually going to be coming off the bench for this match. Just finished my dinner while enjoying the action, even without actually watching the game itself and anticipating the Tongan squad naming this Friday for the PNC. I didn't actually realise that was taking place. So thank you very much. Do you know when the other sides are announcing their squads as well? Do let me know. And also, Celestia Arce debuts this year for the ABC. He's another name that might be there. And I think you've got to get him Foster's good books to be able to get a kind of half a chance, really. We cover all sessions of the Black Caps versus England test matches. I'm hoping to do a majority of them. It just kind of depends on the time zones and also whether or not my voice is still working for those ones. And also we have got there, and I got a green screen image. See, I don't know, you see, Robert, and also we have got there, to be honest, I'm not sure where they want Rico or where I want Rico anymore. Up until this Super Rugby season, I was at Rico at 11 guy. But now with Anton Leonard Brown out, maybe Rico should be centre. Plenty of options on the wings, says Sebastian. And yeah, I feel like they're all going to do well, like out on the wing. It's just who they decide to go with for the combo. Because, I mean, Ireland, you're looking at, you need someone with a bit of size going head-to-head with James Lowe, but also you need someone with pace. So Sevu Reece, for me, on that right wing makes sense. And then on that left wing, you're probably looking at, who have Ireland got out there? I mean, they might have Balakoon if we're lucky, but I don't know whether or not they're selecting him, which is a bit sad for him. But then they've also got the likes of Jordan Conroy. No, that's a lie. He's the seventh man. Andrew Conroy, I think it is, or Conway, actually. I knew there was Con in there somewhere. Who else is their right wing at the moment for Ireland? Keith Earls? No, he's more left wing, isn't he? Don't know who they're going to go with. And also he's got that in NRL and Jonah Lowe. And as well, says Nathan, oh, imagine Jonah Lowe making it. It would be quite cool to see, but that's the thing. Some of these guys have been playing the best rugby they've been playing in a long time, but unfortunately, they're one of about 5 guys who have been playing the best rugby they've been playing. But I hope Jonah Lowe makes it into the Māori All Blacks, because I feel like that will be just as prestigious for the guys to make their way in. And you've still got a 2-match series up against Ireland, which will be pretty awesome to be able to see. That's gone down in the front row once again. These two sides, it was on the far side. Shoulders up for Chris Apua and also Tom Robertson. And the referee has now moved his body position to this near side. So I think he thinks it's one of those two. And way people love the Rugby Sevens YouTube channel and a little bit of gaming. And there's us, says Brandon, and also my YouTube channel, I say, says Brandon there as well. But Ian Pryor about to throw this one into the scrum. No. Everyone's standing back up. There's been a real awkwardness at scrum time. Not just between these two sides, but actually throughout the whole season. And I don't know what it is. Everyone, I think, is trying to get that little bit of an advantage over their opposition, but all it does is, unfortunately, slow down the match a little bit more, as you probably have about 5 scrum resets a game, if not maybe a couple more. But now the ref has actually decided to circle back round to that far side of the scrum. Now, it's going to be a free kick there. I think Greg Holmes is not too happy with that one, but it is going to be the free kick for Moana Pasifika. And now Lincoln McClutchy, he will be taking the quick tap, and Greg Holmes, he is still protesting that he was not involved in that penalty, taking the quick tap now for Lincoln McClutchy and Smart from Moana Pasifika. I'm glad that they didn't say that they wanted to go for a scrum again, because it easily could have been going the other way. Nice hands from Lulagi Vizinia. Hanging on to it. And also, Kiwi Lads, why you don't upload all videos inside your main Kiwi Lads channel? Why split across multiple channels? And there says coding. Pretty much the logic behind it was, I don't want to absolutely spam you guys with notifications. So normally, by putting a couple of the other matches on the Kiwi Lads Sport channel, not only does it, I guess, keep that channel in the mix, because it is going to be a very similar channel to what we upload on here, but also it does mean that people who want to get a whole heap of videos each week can, but then also the ones who only want the occasional one and subscribe to the main channel, it works out for them. And the Māori All Blacks will feel a bit empty without Sean. I mean, that guy was amazing, says Sebastian. Yeah, it's going to be, I'd like to think that for their first game back since his passing, they will do some sort of special, kind of lay the jersey down or something like that. But yeah, it's still like you mentioned, last time that he played for them, who were they up against? Was it actually the game up against Moana Pasifika before Moana Pasifika became Moana Pasifika, if that makes any sense whatsoever? It was kind of that one before they actually got themselves a Super Rugby team. It also there because people enjoy sports Brandons. And as says Robert, currently 3 penalties in a row against the Western Force. And now Moana Pasifika will once again kick it for the touchline. Evening, Hamish. How are you, brother? Says Birdie. I am doing very well, mate. How are you? Do let me know. And I pity the Moana or the Māori aren't in the Pacific Nations Cup due to the 2 tests with Ireland. And they've always added the extra challenge for the 3 Pacific Island teams. Says Sammy Sosa, yeah, it would have been quite a cool inclusion for that competition. And who knows, maybe that competition slowly keeps on growing and growing, because I know a lot of competitions around the world currently are working on the theory of we want to get more teams in there so that we can increase the action. So Australia A being in there, maybe we get to see the possibility of maybe eventually the Maori All Blacks could get added in. Maybe we see a side made up of like the Cook Islands, etc., and just getting them more game time to keep on improving. Yeah, I think it was Josh Ioane's Moana games there, Sebastian. Yeah, the initial Moana Pasifika side, that none of the players who played for Moana Pasifika are actually in the Moana Pasifika side now, because they had the likes of Josh Ioane in there. Or actually, Iritara Inari may have been in that Moana Pasifika side, and he is playing for Moana Pasifika now. But then they also had Michael Alaratoa. He was scattered throughout there. Thinking through that whole side, there were so many players that if that was the Moana Pasifika side this year, they would have been dangerous. And I was like, all good, my side. Hectic storms over the weekend, but it's all cool. Says Betty V there. So yeah, hopefully it's not too bad for yourself. I know that the flooding, did you get flooding where you were, Bertie? Because that was a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? So it seems like it's just hectic weather at the moment. And also we have got there. I know when Be Friends do like 1 year and 3 months, which on my YouTube channel says Brandon, and also but couldn't they do like the cricket's going to do with Andrew Simons and hold a tribute at the stadium he last played at. I think they might consider doing it, because although I think the only problem with that was whether or not the games are being played at the same one, if that makes sense. But they did actually do it for the Bunnings NBC. They did have a tribute to him when Bay of Plenty were playing a while ago, and that Moana squad would have reached the playoffs undoubtedly, says Sebastian there. I'm actually going to have a look at the initial Moana Pasifika squad, because there were some very good names scattered throughout there. We'll get that up. It's going to be, that's the thing, when you see them, do they have Falau Whakatava as well? I think they did, as their number 9 now that I think about it. I'm trying to think of how many of the players I can remember before looking it up. Who do they have out on the wings? Nah, my brain's gone blank. I know that Ash Dixon was playing for the Māori All Blacks in that matchup. Even the Māori All Blacks is going to look completely different this year with a few of their players going overseas. I'm just trying not to sneeze at this point, which I think is going to happen. So one moment. Okay, there's an advantage to Moana Pasifika here. My eyes are starting to water. Having a shocker. Now, Lamana Matanga. Let's try and back and go now. Iritara Inari gives it off to Lincoln McClutchy in the rear for my eye. That might have been forward, but if it's not, the team of Whainā Nuku has just picked up his second try, and this could be the first brother combo to get hat tricks in Super Rugby Pacific with him and his brother Lester. One moment, we all go like this. There we go. No flooding my side, but a couple of areas got flooded over the weekend again, and same weather happening here. Cheers, Birdie. So yeah, hopefully everyone is staying safe, because it's so weird how all of a sudden it's like the weather is just being like brutal, really. And also the Māori All Blacks and All Blacks, 2 teams. What's the difference? So pretty much the Māori All Blacks is a side made up of teams that do have Māori heritage. So if you don't have that, you can't actually go on to that team. A moment. I had not blown my nose once before starting the live stream, fun fact. And yeah, it's weird, mate. And there as well. But yeah, pretty much, even if you are in the Māori All Blacks, you can qualify for the All Blacks as well, because we did see the likes of Quinto Paia actually got selected for both sides last year. And also, Eyebrow says, Tom, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well at the moment. Moana Pasifika looking pretty good in the early stages of this game. They have been able to get that one over as well, which does now mean that the score is sitting at 14 points to 5 in favour of Moana Pasifika. Right. I am now going to be able to find who was in that Moana Pasifika side. So, Daniel Leonard-Brown, Lenny Upperside, Michael Alalatoa, Gerard Cowley Tuiyoshi, Ngātoa Koi, Marino Makaeli Tu'u, Alamana Matanga was actually there, so that's quite awesome that he is still at that side. And then also Peter Gus Sawakula slotting in at number 8. And then the back line, it was Falau Whakatawa, Joshuani, Vinsaso, Fatuli Paia, Lester Whainanoku, Salisi Rayasi, and Stephen Peter Feta as the back three. And then also they had Etenai Saturo off the bench, Samapini Pinau, Sione Mafaleo, Samasone Takiaho. And I was like, why is there rugby on a Tuesday? Is it a holiday, says Kwasi? So pretty much the only reason we've got this game now is because it was going to be a part of the Super Round back in about round 10, but they did have to miss it due to the positive cases in the Western Force camp. So it did have to be rescheduled to now because they did have to try and squeeze it in somewhere. And Fiji, Samoa, Tonga, the Cook Islands, and the Maori would be an ideal PNC, even if the Cooks ended up being the whipping boys of the competition, in my opinion. So all speaking of players getting a little bit feisty out there at the moment, it looks like there's a bit of push and shove happening. But the big thing is, like, the only way the Cook Islands can get better is if they do end up, like, pretty much in the situation of being able to play rugby is the best way of doing it. And also we've got there, you got some allergies or coming down with the flu, mate, says Betty V. It is hay fever. I have had it for the past kind of 2 or 3 months, and unfortunately it has been on and off depending on the weather. Like, we're pretty overcast at the moment, and that seems to be when it does hit me the most with the pollen. And also we have got there, you have so much cold, Hamish, what happened? Says going, it is just hay fever. It's been quite a, I guess, overcast, pollen-y day here. And also we have got there, here causing postponements. There's going to be Susan Hybro. Where is going on this match? So this match is being played at Mount Smart Stadium in Auckland at the moment. And also we've got that Hamish away, you mate says, struck it down under, doing all right. Other than hay fever. Other than that, I'm all good, and I'm excited for this weekend. As there is plenty more rugby coming up in a very short moment. Have had to do that a few times throughout the live stream, unfortunately, but other than that, we're good. How are you trucking? Do let me know. And also, who are you picking to be able to win the Super Rugby competition? I'm curious who everyone is going with at this stage. Some Māori could be in the All Blacks, and not All Blacks. All the All Blacks are Māori. And there's our says Nov Mum there. And also, thanks for the explanation, says Kwasi. And who's the fastest winger in Super Rugby? It's got to be, fastest winger. Geez, there's some speed demons down the wing. See, like, you would say maybe someone like a Caleb Clark when he gets full steam, but then you've also got, Sever Reese. He's pretty speedy. Couple of these other sides. Richard Kahi might have been tipped above the horizontal there. Manasa Mataeli on the far side of this field. Like, there are some quick boys. Haborsi. And also, we've got the Moana by 5 at Hamish has gay fever. And there, as else says Paddy Wagon. That kind of sounds like a movie parody, doesn't it? I guess you could say. What's that one that's called, like, Saturday Night Fever? Is that the one with John Travolta? And also we have got there, we have got Hamish, can you recall you become so angry in live stream and abused and blocked the message by yourself? I see you every time, so cool and calm. And there, as well says, it was coding. I don't think I've ever been, like, angry on live stream. Like, I've been in this situation how I kind of, like, laugh at the trolling people because, like, it's just quite funny. But I don't think I've ever, like, I can't even look angry without smiling, which is, like, it doesn't work. My face doesn't go that way. And also we have got there, don't worry, Hamish, the ladies love when you show some vulnerability, says Sebastian there. And also would love to see Moana get up with the win. Oh, Okay, that's going to be a card for Jack Lamb. It's going to be a yellow there, so he will be disappointed. Or is it, in fact, it's actually Levi Moore who's going off the field. And unfortunately, he has had quite a few throughout the last little while. And also we've got there Tom Lowe. And also we have got there, looks like a card coming up, says Jefferson. It certainly is Levi Moore, only recently returning from a suspension up against the Waratahs, I believe it was. But now he is back and rearing to go again. Nice kick down. Fell from Jake McIntyre there. Levi Moore not too happy with Wyman there, but Richard Kahu, he's gone from being the guy who got the red card a couple of weeks ago to now getting dropped on his head and having a yellow card against the opposition. I was just looking through at that side that they had Dwayne Politaival, Nasi Manu, Tikaroi Tuma. Like, they had a good side for Moana Pasifika. This is looking good for Tony Pulu. Oh, he might have been taken out a little bit by Lalagi Vizinier. And it is now going to be going back for the initial penalty in favour of the Western Force. So currently 27 minutes through this game. Both sides just trying to find their way to the victory, because if the Western Force win this game and the Highlanders lose their next game, the Western Force can actually overtake them and make their way into that top 8. Whereas if you do end up with Moana Pasifika winning this game, that shuts down the Western Force's chances, and then there is only one real outcome for the whole season, and that is the top 8 is the top 8, and anyone else is anyone else on the table. Now it looks like Aaron Major just having a sip of the water at this point in time. Hoping that is so I can do all right. Victor Vito and Michael Alanatoa on the verge of joining an exclusive Champions Cup club. What's that? That's some interesting information that I've just seen as a headline. Exclusive Champions Cup team. That would be interesting to see how that goes. And also Levi Moore is an interesting player, especially when he's Fijian and Samoan. But just don't know which parent is from where. Says Sammy Sosa. So I guess his options are endless for who he does want to sign with at international level. Now Ian Pryor, this is looking good. Oh, Richard Kahu, he's put it down though. And now it's going to be on the side of Tima Whaiana Noku trying to pierce that one. It is Henry Taifu. Now Eritara Enery goes back to McClutchy, and he will be kicking it downfield, trying to relieve some of that pressure taken nicely by Rijan Pasatoa. Good morning from sunny South Africa. Says Rishi there. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. And hope you're excited for the URC. I do see that it will be South Africa with 2 home finals for the quarterfinal leg of the URC. And then also, is it Leinster versus... Who are Leinster playing? The Scarlets? Is that their game that they have got coming up? But I think there's a South African derby as well, isn't there? Which will be interesting. Brilliant ball on the outside. Manasa Mateela gives it off. And it is going to be Jake McIntyre scores it. My tongue got tongue-tied there, but Jake McIntyre is able to go over the try line. And the Western Force score themselves another try in this game, and it just gets a little bit closer. Second try for 2022 for Jake McIntyre. So been relatively quiet, although he hasn't really had too many starts. Don't yawn, that's not good. We're only midweek. We've got a big weekend ahead of us. We've got the London Sevens. We've got Super Rugby. I believe alongside that, we've got the Champions Cup final between Leinster and La Rochelle. That is going to be a cracking match. We are hoping to cover that one on the channel alongside the Sevens. I think there's going to be quite a few overlaps, so we'll have to do some hectic decision-making over the weekend, which is always the toughest thing to do because you don't know what way to swing in terms of the matches, I should mention. We're not going back to Paddy's movie title there. But, yeah, working out what games to cover at what times. Now about to line up this kick for Ian Pryor. Munster versus Ulster and Sharks versus Bulls are my 2 favourite CBs. Yeah, they're going to be big games. And then it must also be Stormers versus Edinburgh, is it? One moment. We're going to have to go like this again. Right, so my nose is now bleeding. That's not what you want on a live stream, is it? And also we have got there, some of that crowd is quite vocal, and also Leicester versus Glasgow and Stormers versus Edinburgh. And there's our says Sebastian. So yeah, currently bleeding nose. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to love a bit of hay fever every once in a while. What's a name? Or what's a name you have now? And there. And also, hey, says Max. And also, okay, come on, Moana, says Richard. But now it's going to be kicked off by Lincoln McClutchy. Goes down to Byron Ralston, who now will be kicking it for the touchline. Hey, Mum. How you going?
You're right there.
Yeah, I'm doing well.
You're doing well.
Yeah. And also, put your head up, it will work, says Max there as well. It's been a successful hay fever night. And also, blood have to resist the temptation, says Sebastian. There's over now to Tero Talay. Does get driven into touch. Do I sound much worse with the thing on? Or do I just sound the same? Yeah. E-websites to watch it says Makoi or Maki Oa. Hopefully I said that correctly. I know that they have got the option on Sansa.tv, but it depends on what country you're in for whether or not you are actually able to watch it. Now that's going to be the penalty to the Western Force just outside of their 22. This is actually easier than when it was running. Believe it or not. It's just I look a bit weird. Look a bit weird anyway, normally, so we're all good. And also we're going to take a couple of minutes during the break to cease the bleeding. There, Oyo shot. And there, as I says, it was Maki Oa. And also we're going to who's got the ball, says Max. At this stage, the Western Force will have the line out. And also Hamish is now Squidward. I do sound a bit more like Squidward. SpongeBob. That was my SpongeBob, or not my one. And also, Hamish, was this game previously postponed? Is that why the reason they are playing on a Tuesday night? Oh, is it not Tuesday? And I've lost the plot, says Drucker. No, it was recently postponed. That was part of the Super Round initially, but then the game did end up getting moved to a different date due to positive cases in the Western Force camp. So that is why they did end up changing the date of it. But they did have to get it in somewhere before the quarterfinals, just because the Western Force still had half a chance of being able to make their way through to the quarterfinals. But now it is going to be the scrum feed for Moana Pasifika. So they're currently 34 metres out. Still 2 minutes 30 left of their yellow card. Now Eritara Enery does put the ball in there. It's going to be taken nicely off the back. Not by Jack Lamb, but by Alamana Matanga, as he is now going to be playing at number 8. While the other man is sitting in the bib, which was Levi Moore. That's actually a lie, so it is still Jack Lamb. My apologies there. Got it round the wrong way. Now Eritara Enery passes the ball off, currently 45 metres out from the line. Moana Pasifika. Enery goes back, and it will be in the hands of Jack Lamb. He's been driven backwards multiple times throughout this matchup. Eritara Enery now goes onto the short side. If Moana Pasifika, if they can score with 14 men on the field just before halftime, that would be absolutely massive for them. It looks like Santiago Medrano putting in a good shot, though. Was it Santiago Medrano? Yeah, no. Was it? No, it's Greg Coates. No, it is actually Santiago Medrano there. Looked a little bit high from Jeremy Thrush, but when you are that tall, it is normally pretty tough to be able to duck enough. Now, Eritara Enery. Get ready to put this ball up with the box kick. It's gone high. It's going to be contested by Leicester. No, it was Tima Whaiaranuku, in fact. Wasn't willing to go for it. So instead, now the Western Force have got this ball back, and it's Fergus Lee Warner. If it is Gary, Ian Pryor looks to the short side. Offloads it now to Manstey. A rarity to see that man in action, or actually with the ball in hand throughout this matchup. Now it's a nice kicker behind. Very nicely done by the Western Force, and now it will be Moana Pasifika who have got the line out from about 20 metres out from the line. Update your score. Says Andre there as well. Yeah, it is a little bit slower. There we go. And it's got the other one. Oh, there's currently 14 points to 12. The Western Force able to score themselves 2 tries, and Moana Pasifika also. And even Stevens, I see, says Brett in there as well. Oh, yeah, very close to it at this point in time between these two sides. Anyone wondering why I've got a tissue held up to my nose? I should say it's not out of choice. It's just that my nose started bleeding. So I couldn't really not do this, or else then I would have had a whole heap of blood dripping down my face. which would have been unfortunate. It tries not coming, or try scores not coming up across the bottom, says Max. Yeah, I did decide for this one that we haven't got it just at this stage, but I can tell you who the try scorers are. It was actually Andrew Reddy, then also Jake McIntyre, Tima Whaiananuku, he was able to score two, and also we have got an interesting match going on, says Tom. It is indeed. And I can say that this is the first time ever that we've had a bleeding nose on a live stream, ladies and gentlemen. So you are all here for history in the weirdest possible way. But, you know, life goes on. I don't know. Live stream, you can't really hide. So I'm just chilling here, bleeding. The second half will open up, I'm sure, says Andre. Yeah, it's just kind of that filling out process for the first half, and then we will have to wait and see exactly who gets the better of the second half. The Western Force versus the Hurricanes, that will be taking place as part of this weekend. There's actually a lot of matches taking place all within the same day. I believe we get 4 on the Saturday this week and only the 1 game on the Friday night. That will be Crusaders taking on the Reds. But now Latero Tole throws it in. And also remember when you had hot chips or you had chips on a stream? I do. That was a big fail because I underestimated how much silence there would be when eating chips as well. So I think I ate like 10. And then I was like, right, this isn't working. And also Butterburger rum is a great cure for nosebleeds. Says chucking down under there. I might have to take you up on that offer. Or it might not have even been an offer. It might have been a tip, was it? But that one has gone into touch. And it will now be 3.5 minutes left of this first half. The weird thing is, like I mentioned a little bit earlier on, by actually putting the tissue on my nose, like I'm not sneezing, my nose isn't running, or it might be, but I got it all blocked anyway. So it's actually more ideal and more convenient than it was before, other than the fact that I'm starting to cramp up in my hand, which is a bit unfortunate. We're going to have to dig deep for the next 3 minutes. But I should mention, anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I don't normally have a tissue attached to my nose or sound like Squidward from SpongeBob. Normally, we have a bit more, I guess, a bit more face showing. It's kind of like as if I've got like a really weird mouth and I'm trying to hide it. Maybe I do. You'd almost see it down the bottom if I really stretch it out. Now 2.5 minutes left. It's going to be going in nicely for the Western Force. And also where I've got their change hands over. I would, but I'm worried that then it might drip and then that would be very worrying. And maybe not that nice. So at this stage, it should be all right. We're just going to forget that my hand's up there, really. It's as if it doesn't exist. And also we're there. Trendsetter Hamish. To be honest, I don't know whether or not this trend will catch on. It's probably one that people look at and go, you know, I don't think I would do that myself, as it does look very strange. Now, Ian Pryor going off the short side. I can't think of, to be fair, I can't think of any commentator who has done a commentary live stream with a tissue held up to his nose because his nose is currently bleeding. Like, that is a trend and a half. So I guess, yeah. And also, I told you that ladies find vulnerability sexy. I mean, you might have done it, mate. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know whether they'll find this too sexy overall. I think they'll just find this a bit weird. Really, that's going to be close to the try. And that is going to be the 3rd try for the Western Force now. And it's Jeremy Thrush who pops up with the ball in hand and go out halftime and fix it, says Max. And also awesome, says James Crude there as well. And it's a nice try for Jeremy Thrush. That is his 5th try of 2022. Old school updating outstanding. Or old school update outstanding, says Brent there as well. Yeah, it's been pretty awesome to see Jeremy Thrush play the way that he is this season. Because, like, 5 tries for a lock is impressive, but 5 tries is even more impressive for a lock of a team who haven't been going that well this year for the Western Force. Now, it went down in the front row. That's a lie. It just fell down in the front of them all, really. And Jeremy Thrush, with the black eye and all, has been able to get himself his 1st try of this match. And possibly not the last, the way that he's been playing. Ian Pryor about to line up this kick. We've still got another 18. Actually, oh, they're checking something here. It might not have been a try for Jeremy Thrush. Right, they're checking to see if there's a knock on. Ooh. There might be a little sneaky knock on the ground. That would be unfortunate for him. The ball has been clearly lost forward. Oh, no. Okay, no try for Jeremy Thrush, unfortunately. I was just praising him, and also by the force. Be with us, punting the force, says Brent. But like they say, they thought it was a player on the ground. Jeremy Thrush can't quite believe it. And now they're going to be going back for the initial advantage. Jeremy Thrush is going, He's not too happy with it at the moment. But joining the rule, wait, they've put up joining the ball incorrectly as the penalty. And that will be the one against Moana Pasifika. But they're back to 15 men on the field, I should mention. Oh. So I think Jeremy Thrush, he was pretty unlucky with that one, but now it is going to be a 5-metre line out. Jake McIntyre now. Kicks it into touch. He's got plenty of it and it's gone. The ball's lost. Not really. It's bounced back out, luckily. For them, that ball could have been missing for quite some time if they weren't able to find it. It's quite dark at the ground where there's no lights. Now around the side. And the Western Force, it looks like this time Andrew Reddy's trying to get off the back. And the thing is, Jeremy Thrush, he'd absolutely love to be at the back to score this try, but I don't think he's going to be needed. In fact, he is actually slowly working his way to the back. Now trying to drive this one over. It's popped out the back for them. Now on the short side, Richard Kahui getting close at the moment. They've got the advantage as well here for the Western Force. Fergus Lee Warner going around this side. Brian gives it off to Byron Ulster. He got it down. And that will be the try for the Western Force now. I sound like I'm stoned. I'm not stoned, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just blocking the nose due to bleeding. So that is the try to Byron Ralston. Doing very nicely there. In my best Squidward voice. SpongeBob. That's the thing. Squidward was kind of like, yes, he didn't like SpongeBob, but he seemed like at times he was an understanding neighbor, you know? Like SpongeBob was always up to his shenanigans with Patrick. Those two, they just seem to still have that mutual, like, work colleague kind of relationship. It's really deep. And Moana will bounce back in the second half. Says Sebastian, yeah, this match is far from over. At this point in time, Super Rugby Friday, yes, it is indeed. It will be coming up relatively soon. But for the Western Force, off to hospital, mate. And as I says, Brent, is that for yourself, Brent? Hopefully you are all right in that case. Now, Brian lining up this kick, and it has gone over. So now at halftime, the score will be 19 points to 14. And also, we're going to what happened to you, says Jamie. Pretty much the gist of it is I blew my nose a few times due to hay fever. And then it decided it wanted to start bleeding. So rather than hiding off the live stream, we were like, we might as well just do the rest of the half. You know, my mum's standing next to me. No, I'm all good, Mumsy. I'm doing all right. Do you want to pop in for a bit of a halftime chat while I clean myself up? All righty, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to be away for a little bit of time, probably a couple minutes, to try and make myself look less like I've broken my nose. And my mother's going to be joining you guys for a nice little halftime chat. So, yeah, hopefully you guys are having fun. And I guess I'll see them all in a very short moment. Hello, Mum's there. I've just had tea. So. Just had tea, no worries at all. I've just had a bleeding nose. I'll give you that. And ladies and gentlemen, I've got to take off the headset like that. That doesn't work. Oh, my God. Yeah, no. Ooh. Oh, well,
I'll go like this.
I guess I shall see you all guys for the next little while. My mum, she's gonna come see you. Be nice to her.
Yeah, be nice.
All right.
What's been happening anyway?
She's a nice lady. At the moment, 19 points to 14. Yellow card earlier on.
Oh,
Western Force. Or sorry, for Levi Moore of Moana Pasifika.
Mm-hmm.
And those are your try scorers there. Yeah, I see it a little bit.
Don't be too long.
No, I won't be. I just got to stop the bleeding,
Okay. So, interesting half by the looks of it. G'day. How's it going, everyone? So what's the goss? So I can't commentate because there's no game on at halftime. How's it going, Sebastian? Caught up on your sleep? Because I don't think Hamish has yet. Hello there. Paddy, Ms. Sir, and Lord Rapture. Oh no, Lord Rapture, have we had you in here before? Pass. There's so many names, eh? So is it a good game so far, or is it reasonably boring? What's the verdict? Huh? No verdict? So, it's a bit boring when there's no rugby on, isn't there? But Hamish should be back shortly. So the cricket's on, when is it? Next Thursday. What does everyone think about the Black Caps? Be interesting to see if Kane gets back over there after having, or he hasn't had his baby yet. Oh, game pretty good. That's good to hear. It's a bit of a weird night though, isn't it? Smash a beer back. Yeah, maybe I should, but that means I have to leave to go get it. So, and I can't drink that fast. We did have a beer fund going during the cricket season. Maybe we should start that up again. How's it going, Xavier? Trucking down under. How's it going? Is it that Hamish's mum thumped him for being cheeky? Yeah, nah, it wasn't that bad this time. It was all him. Game is decent, but there are no stakes since both are pretty much out. Yeah, can Western Force somehow get in there if they win? Have they still got another game in hand or something? But it's only probably a mathematical calculation whether they can get in or not. I think Hamish has abandoned me. He's thought, right, I'm off. He's probably having something to eat and drink, and yeah. So how's it going, trucking down under? Looking forward to the cricket? Should be good. I don't know. Do you reckon it's going to be interesting? I don't know if they're going to Black Caps going to win it over there, or I suppose the Poms have got something to prove since they got new coach, new captain. Almost new team, isn't it? Be interesting. Oh, you right there?
Yeah, I think I'm all fixed up almost.
Oh, yeah? Stop bleeding?
Yeah.
So you're going to be back to normal?
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
That's what happens when you have a live stream midweek.
But the midweek bleeds, eh?
Yeah. Right, yeah. See you later, guys.
Thank you.
No worries. Probably talk more then.
I was going to say, you sound like you were having a good old chat. Oh, good old chat. Right. Hello. Rumor has it that Hamish's mum thumped him for being cheeky. He's struck it down under. The game is decent, but there are no stakes since they are both pretty much out and out. Hamish says, Xavier, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. I am doing a lot better now. The fact that I do not have to hold up a tissue to my nose because it is bleeding. And I was like, fair play. Cheers, Pip there. Now currently still halftime. My prediction is a drawn series, England to win at Lords, New Zealand at Trent Bridge, and a draw at Headingley. So I assume we have talked about some cricket at this stage, and also we've got that cracket. This is Paddy. Yeah, hopefully the bleeding has stopped. I was actually going to look for like a clothes peg just in case. Just chomp it on the nose, and I mean, it would probably hurt quite a bit, but it would be better than it bleeding on the live stream. And also we have got there that chat shouts you a beer or two. And there says Truck, and I'll have to let her know that she has got herself another donation. She tell you what, she makes more than me on these live streams. But yeah, thank you very much, Truck, and hugely appreciated. And I'm sure she will be enjoying those beverages when we do the cricket between England and New Zealand as well. And also who got the first try for Moana? First try, Tima Whaiananuku. Second try, Tima Whaiananuku. It's been looking very good in the first half, getting himself both of those tries. And also we have got their fair play, says Pip there as well. Yeah, there's actually, I guess, quite a few messages to me, Mumsy. So it is good to see that you guys are getting along well. I think that's the thing. Ever since the live streams that we did for the cricket, like, I feel like we could just, I could sleep at some stage and she would be able to take over not too badly. It probably would have to be a daytime game and pretty nice. And as says Richard, so yeah, Tima Whaiananuku going on an absolute tear at the moment. All those ones. But yeah, I will have to tell my mum's there that she's got a few more Heinekens that can buy her like a good old box full trucking down under. So that might last the whole first test match. Oh, actually, I will mention, I don't think she will be joining me for a majority of the first one, unfortunately. And the reason for that is she's actually away on a golf tournament for her and Dad and like a doubles thingamabob. So it'll probably be the second one that we do see a little bit more of her. And oh, hello, Richard. And as I says, Betty, and also only Muppets don't get along with Donna, says Sebastian there, and Australia versus Sri Lanka, who got winning the 3 T20s, 5 ODIs, and 2 tests starting on June 7th. Ooh. Okay, so the T20s, the thing is, Sri Lanka's openers are very good, but if they don't fire, for me, Sri Lanka don't really get over the line normally. So I'll say Australia win that. ODIs, I think, will be close, but I'll go Sri. Oh, you know what? I'm going to be nice. I'm going to say Sri Lanka win the ODIs 3-2, and then Australia to take the Test series. But it will be 1-0 because one of them will be drawn. I feel like that was a lot more specific than I should have been because I'll probably be completely wrong for those ones. But do let me know what you guys think in terms of who will be able to win those ones. But if it's in Australia, normally you back the Aussies. If it's in Sri Lanka, though, it could be a little bit different. In fact, I'm just going to have a quick look, see what I can find when it comes to that. I see that there is a game of the IPL coming up relatively soon, and that is actually a qualifying matchup between Gujarat and Rajasthan. Hopefully I said those correctly. I feel like the first one I probably said a little bit wrong, to be honest. Right, international cricket, what can we find? International women's cricket actually coming up in Bangladesh, currently playing Sri Lanka. We go here, June, what we got? Are they playing in June? It doesn't actually have them on my schedule for June, which is interesting. And also, hopefully Moana Pasifika can beat the Western Force, says Hanley. And if they are able to win, that will then mean that there is the cancellation of any chance of the Western Force making it into the top 8. And then from there, we will know exactly who is the top 8 heading into the next stages. But currently, I mean, the good news is that, like, as annoying as it can be at sometimes, the halftime breaks being long, I mean, it gave us time so that my nose would stop bleeding. And also, it does mean that we've still got a little bit more time to talk about a few of the stats to do with that matchup. Because currently, I'd say it's relatively even for these two sides in the first 40 minutes. And discipline's going to be so important in the second 40 of the match. I swear if Moana beats the Brumbies, as says Richard, and that would be a big upset. But if they get it right, at the end of the day, on any given day in Super Rugby, any team can beat any team. And I know that that sounds a bit cliche, but it's true because we've seen it throughout the season happen quite a few times with the underdog winning their matchup. And also, I hope Moana wins, says Chris there. And also, I hope Moana Pasifika next season will sign more local players from the islands rather than New Zealand-based players, says Dwayne. Yeah, hopefully we do get to see a few more players making their way in because I guess that's the thing. With the Bunnings NBC, we've got a lot of those guys in there anyway, I guess you could say, with the talent. And that's actually coming up only a couple months away as well, isn't it? The Bunnings NBC. And also, we're to have rugby on a Tuesday. It is. It's a little bit strange, but I know that it's actually the last Tuesday game we've got in quite some time. I know that there's the under-20 Super Rugby competition taking place tomorrow, I believe. But I don't know whether or not I will be up early enough for those matches, as one of them has taken place at about 12 or something. But the funny thing is with that is if it's the under-20 competition, if you've got like an 18-year-old, does that mean he gets the day off school so that he can play rugby? You know? And also we have got there, you've been keeping up with the NRL a little bit more over the last couple of weeks. And I think it's from me and George playing Rugby League Live for that it's got me like back into it a little bit more than I was earlier on, because earlier on it was just I couldn't quite find the time to be able to watch it. But I've been watching a few more of the games now, and I think that's also down to the fact that after Super Rugby ends, I will actually be able to do a few more NRL live streams over on the Kiwi Lad Sport channel, which is pretty awesome, just to kind of catch up a little bit more with the comp and see how everyone is kind of developing, because I know that the Warriors, they're struggling a little bit just like us. But we all know Rugby Union, we all know Union over League, and yes, it was Xavier. And also, do you think the Stormers can beat Edinburgh if it's at home for the Stormers, which I believe it is, isn't it? So I would say yes, but then if it was in Edinburgh, I'd probably say no, just because of how much of an advantage home field advantage is in the URC. I'm going back to the teachers having to get a grip, and I'm going back to teachers having to get a grip, says Sebastian. See, that's the thing. We had some cool teachers and some not so cool teachers overall. Like some teachers that you think would be strict, like were actually some of the more casual ones, like when you actually were in their class, if that makes sense. Like we had one that like everyone always thought wasn't that nice, but then we had like a small class of about 8 people doing some work, and it was quite a bit of fun, really. And also, hi Hamish, and there says Max, and also Wednesday United's Rugby Championship starts their finals not this weekend, but next weekend will be when those are taking place, and that will involve the Sharks versus Bulls game. I think is actually one of the opening matches of the competition. But currently, Moana Pasifika, they've got a few of their fans in attendance, which is good to see for this matchup. And also, it's going to be in Cape Town. Can't really see Edinburgh getting the job done. Here's Sebastian. Yeah, it's going to be tough for them, that is for sure. I feel like I'm going to sneeze again. Hopefully, we don't have a second half similar to the first in terms of bleeding noses and all sorts. I've just got to stay zen, and then we won't sneeze. And also, how's the nose, says Max? It's doing all right, other than the fact that if I sneeze, it's going to probably not be ideal. But we should be all right, hopefully, as long as I fight off this sneeze. And also, we're going to who the Sharks have this weekend. Says, I don't believe they've got a game for the URC, but they have got a Curry Cup game up against the Cheetahs, it might be. I'm not too sure. I will get that information for you very soon, Aiden, in terms of who they are going to be playing. In fact, I'll be able to pull it up not too far away now. One moment. Fixtures. It is going to be the Sharks playing.
It's still half time.
It is still halftime. It's a long halftime break, isn't it?
What the heck? Yeah, they buggered off.
They haven't actually got a game this weekend, the Sharks. They've got the bye. Good luck for the second half is the comment there. And now these two sides making their way back out onto the field, finally getting ready for the second half of this matchup. And Curry Cup standards have kind of slipped, haven't they? I think it's because of those games overseas. Like, they just make it so that it's just very tricky to get a good enough side in for those guys who have got URC teams. But I'd assume the last few weeks it's going to be all right. And Bulls or Sharks in the quarterfinal win, says Hanley. It's going to be a tough game. The Sharks have been looking pretty decent, but the Bulls, they're a side you definitely can't underestimate. Who's going to win? I reckon Moana. And there says Max. And also we have got there's a good halftime score, especially when the home team itself is doing good so far, despite being down a try, says Sammy Souza. And the second half now just about to get underway. It has taken quite some time. It was a long halftime break, but we are back and we are raring to go now. It's taken nicely by Tima Whaiana Anuku, already scoring 2 tries throughout that first half. Hiritara Inery goes off to Lincoln McClutchy. I'll try to link up with a couple minutes in his midfield. It was Henry Taifu. He did end up having that carry there. My coverage is now just frozen, but now it's back in the hands of the Western Force, so a pretty easy turnover for the early stages. Now Jack Lamb going for a bit of a counter ruck. Doesn't work out, though, and Ian Pryor still on the side of the Western Force. Step from Jeremy Thrush, hit hard by Ezekiel Lindenmuth. Now going short side, ready off to Pasatoa. A close to forward pass into the hands of Manasa Matieli, but it's still just available for the Western Force. Byron Ralston in the midfield. Now they're going back. Okay, now they are going back for the forward pass. And it is going to now be the scrum feed for Moana Pasifika. We all know Leinster will win the URC, so not really exciting says Hunley. And yeah, it's massive for them to have home finals all the way through if they do keep on winning. And also watch our Moana come out firing and come on a Quinn's style comeback, says Sebastian. Although Quinn's style comeback, they need to give up another 15 points or so. The Quinns have just an incredible way of getting back into matches, because I remember you talking about it and I was like, interesting. I'll check the odds on the TAB and they were only paying like $3. And I was like, how can a side down by so much be paying $3? And then we saw why, because they were just able to somehow get themselves back into that matchup and win it. As yes for a pass, and hey Betty, says Max there. Now it will be Licka McClutchy kicking it down to Jake McIntyre, the try scorer from earlier on, now going for the 50-22, unable to find a gap though, and Lincoln McClutchy instead is able to grab it inside of the 22. It's a good clearing kick, but it doesn't find touch either. It's currently the ball just staying alive for the next little while now. Manasa Mataeli running sideways, trying to find a gap, a great low tag on him by Levi Amua, and also force a win. And there says Betty as well. And now Tony Pulu hasn't really had a huge amount of minutes throughout the season. Levi Amua giving away the penalty. Okay, they are saying not supporting the body weight against Levi Amua. And that will be another penalty against Moana Pasifika. So discipline, like I mentioned at halftime, it's going to be so important for both of these sides. That was unfortunate. A yawn as well. I feel like my body just doesn't like me today. Decided that it wants to sneeze, wants to have a bleeding nose, and then now it wants to yawn as well. And I was like, I don't care. I just want to see a comeback. So here's Richard there. Getting ready to throw this one in now for the Western Force. Ryan McCauley calls, but they go to the middle to Jeremy Thrush. Now passing it off to Richard Kahu, who is playing at inside centre for this game. Now nice step from Ryan McCauley. Now moves up to the 22. Good leg drive from the big lock. Now Pryor goes backwards into the hands of Tim Anstey. She's looked out relatively quickly there. Now passing back Pasatoa, Byron Ralston, unable to go through a gap. Latero Tole able to make the tackle on him. Now Santiago Medrano. Now off. Once again, Pasatoa goes through. This is looking good for them. Ball on the outside to Tony Pulu. And he goes in the corner. And that will be another try to the Western Force. That is going to be done very nicely by the Western Force. And the thing is, if they do get themselves a win, it puts extra pressure on the Highlanders for their upcoming game. And the Western Force, that was a very weird way of saying it, and the Western Force later on in the competition might be peaking at just the right time, although they will have to take on the Blues in the quarterfinal, which will be a tough game for them. But Rejan Pasatoa goes through, nice cellular dummy, and then Tony Pulu in for the corner does score it. And Pasatoa, it was all about that little half pump fake that he did end up doing. Lured in the defender. And nicely done from Tony Pulu. Was all right, just setting up a proper comeback, I suppose, says Sebastian. Yeah, they are trying to get to that Quinn's comeback. How much was it that they were down by up against Gloucester? It was 7 points. 7 points to 24, wasn't it? So 17 down. And that would be another try on top of this one. That just shows how impressive of a comeback that was for Harlequins. But then you could also argue it wasn't impressive because they got themselves into that position. But it just seems to be how they do it to get fired up for a second half. I don't think I can think of a team currently that come back as many times as the Harlequins do. Even thinking back to last year's Gallagher Premiership. But now, lining up this kick, Ian Breyer close to the touchline. Not going to be a very easy one for him. Currently 10 points difference. Trying to make it 12. He struck that one brilliantly. And now because of it, he gets a big smile at the crowd. And it is going to be 26 points for the Western Force and 14 for Moana Pasifika. Like they're saying, McCauley doing brilliantly there. Also, we okay there, bro. Chill. Says Richard there as well. Tony Pulu able to score in the corner. just. He was very close to the touchline, but was able to keep it alive, and now it's going to be taken nicely by, I believe it was Ryan McCauley, the man who helped set up their last try. Now Jeremy Thrush. So his ankle's taken out from underneath him by Ezekiel Lindenmouth, and bro, they missed like 2 kicks. So what? And as says Richard, but now it is going to be going up high. Not quite taken cleanly for Nuria Fumai, but luckily for him, it did end up bouncing backwards. So it is back on the side of Moana Pasifika now. Lindenmouth moves up to halfway. Eritare Inori looking off to the short side here. And it's a good line break from Alamanda Matunga. It's going to be slapped down by Manasa Mateli. And Alamanda Matunga using some big strength and size. Yeah, that wing, but Nuria Fumai just ran out of space. And I think Manasa Mateli also was able to just slap that ball down as it was. And then from there, it was knocked on. Hang on. Moana Pasifika throws probably quite generous in that one, seeing as it was off the hand. Okay. Lost forward by Blue. They have just now realised that it is going to be either the Western Force going to be going for either the line out or the scrum here. Line out. They go into the most meters game for Super Rugby Pacific 2022. He is second on that list, Manasa Mateli. And then also alongside that, it is Will Jordan, who is number 1 currently, who has almost gained a full kilometre of meters for his side. Taken nicely by the Western Force, by Jeremy Thrush, and the rolling ball starts to roll once more for the Force. Has been stopped in his tracks, though, by Moana Pasifika using some of those big bodies in there, although now it looks like a couple of those big bodies have gone off to the side, and it does mean that the Western Force can get a couple extra meters for themselves, almost moving up to the halfway line now. They still have to use it, and going straight through the middle. I think Jack Lamb has done that legally, and because of it, it almost led to the turnover. Richard Kahui, he steps, and now plenty of pace of the veteran. He looks like he likes his chances, but he goes out wide to Tony Pulu instead. Ball on the inside to Jake McIntyre. Another missed tackle by Moana Pasifika. That is dangerous, but it's going to be just short of the line. It's called held up, and that will now be a goal line dropout, but a brilliant run forward from the Western Force, and they almost were able to score once again. And also we have got there Akama, and there's says Timothy. Oh, okay, time is off here. Okay, if time is off, I assume we're either subs or the TMO. I think we're going upstairs for the TMO here. So I think Ben O'Keefe on that far side said that there was a possibility okay. They're checking to see whether or not, with McIntyre over the line, whether or not there was a chance of it being grounded in the same motion. I think that is down to Ben O'Keefe on this far side saying there's a half chance. So he gets rolled. Oh. And we're checking to see whether or not Ian Pryor was able to help out with the grounding. They just need the right angle. So it was on McIntyre initially. Then from there, Pryor tries. Okay, that's down there, but how long did it take for them to get it down over the line? And was it over the line? Because this angle does not show us the clear, conclusive evidence that that is over the try line. But it just shows that there was a grounding. Or you can award the try as the comment. It's initially held up and then it goes down. I don't think Leinster. Oh, I don't know who Leinster is. Who are they? And the Azar says it was Nathan. So that is the team from Ireland, the team that normally wear the kind of dark blue colour. And they are one of the top contenders in Ireland. And yeah, pretty much they have some very good matches up against their rivals such as Ulster, Munster, and also Connacht. And they are now qualified at the top of the URC as we currently sit. Also, I might be leaving school in 3 weeks. My godmother knows a plumber. He has a spot available for a person to do an apprenticeship for plumbing. I'm doing a trial in 3 weeks to Xavier. So hopefully it does end up going smoothly for you, mate. Is being a plumber something that you are very keen on, Xavier? do let me know, because I know that as a, like, I guess, tradesman, like in current times, you can actually, like, there's plenty of jobs available because of so much work, whether it is building the houses if you're a builder, or doing the plumbing, or the electrician role, bricklayer. What else we got for the trades? What else? You got the plumber, the bricklayer, the builder, the electrician. There's one other job, I think, that I can't quite think of. Sam Gilbert's been suspended in Pro 14 champions for the last 4 seasons, says Sebastian there. But yeah, with Sam Gilbert now suspended for his tip tackle, it might mean that the Highlanders are lacking a 10 once again. Briar strikes, it's going to go just wide of the post. Also, all I know is a plumber makes money. They certainly do. They get paid pretty well for that job. Currently 50 minutes through this game, and it is 31 points to 14. And there's footy on, and there's footy on, says Lex Axel. There is indeed. It is the rescheduled matchup that was supposed to take place as part of the Super round. And Richard Kahui, I thought, got dropped there and possibly knocked out, but luckily he did spring straight back to his feet. Now Lincoln McClutchy, backline movement starting to open up for Moana Pasifika, and they need a try, and that's going to be now in the hands of Alamana Matanga, who's an impossible man to bring down with just one of his. And also, if this, I'm out. Moana lost. There's Richard as well, but now sitting 10 metres out for the line, Levi Amua. All right, a step through. That one was possibly a little bit high from Fergus Lee Warner, but now passing across Lincoln McClutchy. Flick ball on. Now Alamana Matanga gets rid of Jake McIntyre for them in first year plumbing apprenticeship. Gets 26K, and then second year 31K. Sees Xavier Brown there. I do see that Pryor's now off the field, and that is for Michael McDonald. Also, Santiago Medrano has been replaced by Bo Abra. That's an advantage to Moana Pasifika, now ready off the field for Faliti Kaitu'u for the Western Force. Moana Pasifika now going around the side once again, trying to link up McClutchy. Now off to Levi Amua. Shut down. No, he's not. They missed the tackle on Levi Amua. Now he's only 5 metres out from the line. Moana Pasifika trying to get straight back into this game. New advantage. And the Western Force, it's a double blow of the whistle. Okay, they've got 2 options. They take the quick tap. They are throwing themselves to the line once more. Tawai. I got to combine with Tuisoa and Radradra for Fiji in the World Cup. And also, that's a try for Moana Pasifika. They've been able to fire back, but Lincoln McClutchy, or not Lincoln McClutchy, sorry. Also, I would love to see Vinaya Habosi as one of those options. That would be absolutely incredible. Onisi Ratave as well is looking pretty solid as of late. And also, we have got there. Xavier, how do you feel about charging people depending on how old and vulnerable they look? Says it was a message. And also, we have got there, if only they would, says Fleishan. And also, we have got, is that New Zealand dollars? Says Novmam. I think it will be in Australian, but it will be relatively similar for the exchange rate at this point in time. And also, I thought Tuisoa and Radradra would not be playing for Fiji anymore, says Richard. I think it just depends on the kind of eligibility in terms of whether or not they are going to be available and able to get out of their contracts. I'd love to think that if it's a World Cup, like every player from every competition around the world should be available to play for their side. Like, it's like the hockey Sebastian was talking about a while ago, how the Canadian hockey players weren't able to actually play due to being locked in for the NHL, which I feel like is pretty brutal for them. And also NHL, or not NHL, sorry, Novmam Aussie dollars, says Xavier. And yes, Habosi Ratave, look at the business, says Lex Axel. But yeah, Fiji's backline could be absolutely insane. Like, I can't even think of a backline that can have that kind of power, pace, and offloading ability. But then that's the thing. With so many brilliant players, does that affect the way that they play? Does it mean that you've got too many guys in the backline who might back themselves to be able to go through? Don't know, but it's going to be great when we do get to see the Fijians in action. But currently in this game, it is now 21 points to Moana Pasifika and 31 to the Western Force. So it seems like Moana Pasifika starting their comeback that we were talking about a little bit earlier on in Quinn's fashion, the Gallagher Premiership. which I believe they don't actually have this weekend, do they? I think it is just the Champions Cup game that's going to be sitting up for them. I think when McClutchy finds the offload to Levi and Moana, how much do they get once fully qualified? Says Novmum. Back across. So Moana Pasifika, they've started to find their second wind here, 53 minutes in, and it should actually say 21 points to 31, and it might say a few more very soon as the offloading game is going strong. Alamana Matanga trying to get it there. Has gone loose, and Lyndon Murphy has become a penalty to the Western Force, and also we got Fiji right now is in the level of Wales and Australia, says Richard. And also, speaking of hockey, the World Championships are on at the moment. And guess what? Effed up decision. Have the NRL or the NHL made once again, Sebastian. So is it just Canada who's missing out, or is it also USA at the moment, Sebastian? Do let me know. How much money would Quay Cooper make in the MLR if he goes? Surely has to be a lot if he is going over the year. I think he would get paid very well. Maybe not quite as much as he did get in Japan, but it would still be like a hefty amount, I'd like to think. And also those overseas clubs holding back nations, finding their potential, not the ABs, says Lax Axel there. But yeah, hopefully everyone is available. I know that Folau Fakatava recently has now become eligible for the All Blacks, which will be interesting. But Super Rugby 2022, Geordie Barrett has made a lot of tackles. He is second on the list. Harry Wilson is in first, and then it is actually Fergus Lee Warner. So it's an all NHL players regardless of nationality, says Sebastian. See, that's stupid. Like, I know that there's money locked in and whatnot, and they don't want their players getting injured. But, like, for me as a player, you play not just for, like, your, like, contract to make a lot of money. You play as a member of the international team. Like, that's about as prestigious as you can get. So to not be able to because some fellow says, nah, he's actually our player, like, I feel like there would be a lot more outrage if it was any other sport, wouldn't there? Now around the side, Fergus Lee Warner, it is Lolagi Virginia taken off, and that is for William Havili now. So good work in the breakdown from Jack Lamb. Unfortunately, though, I'm not supporting the body weight. And also, you play rugby for fun, not for the money, says Xavier there. Yeah, that's the thing. If you're just playing it for the money, the first big hit that you take will put a lot of people off. Because it's not so much of a, I guess you could say, a light contact sport in nowadays with the size and the speed of your opposition. So it's either you play it because you love to play it and you love the challenge of it, or you end up probably giving it up early. And also we have their weight. Did William swap in for Vision? Yeah, he did indeed. Penalties conceded Moana Pasifika. They have given away 11 at this point in time, 5 against the Western Force, and currently 10 points difference with a kick to come for them. And say Hamish, I swear there, and there's facts. Yeah, the NHL seems like they've got different plans, I guess you could say. And also Kristen had said, hey, as well, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. Taking a deep breath, striking it nicely, and now the score, it is going to be sitting at 34 points to the Western Force and 21. And also I have Vizier as a carrier, says Richard there. And also we have got there, can you play in the NRL, then play International Rugby Union for a nation? You certainly can, because we've seen it happen in the past, whether it is Sonny Bill Williams who has done it. Although I don't know whether or not maybe now they've changed the ruling of what you're allowed to do. Roger Torvasa-Sheck might end up being in there. Oh, actually, are you talking in the same season? Because same season might be a little bit different. As in, like, if, who's an example? Sean Johnson. If Sean Johnson ended up going, right, I'm going to play for the Warriors this year, but I also want to go in the All Blacks. Geez, that's a hard landing on the spine of the man. And currently it looks like, he's got up. He's a tough bugger. Now, going to be fired back. Ian Pryor, back to Rejan Pasatoa. Taken nicely by Lincoln McClutchy, and Cutter came from league to union. And as us, says Richard, and the NHL playoffs are on, and even the players of the teams that have already been eliminated can't join the national squads because of the NHL contracts. See, that sucks. Like, it shouldn't be that you have to choose either playing in a league or playing for your country. Like, normally those two go hand in hand. You know, you play, like, rugby-wise, you play Super Rugby, you play International Rugby. NRL, you play NRL, then you go into your international side when it's that season. Like, so they should have something that you can do both. And so if Geordie Barrett went to the NRL with New Zealand All Blacks, choose him. Don't know. That would be a tricky one, wouldn't it? Of whether or not they are able to. I think if he chooses Union, then more than likely the New Zealand side would be looking at him rather than, I guess, the All Blacks, just because like they'll probably feel like, if he wants to play Union, he can, or if he wants to play League, he should play League rather than coming back for international fixtures. And ice hockey is one of the world sports that's big in the US, that their major league can affect the international comps. And as well, that's a great tackle made by William Harvili and Lincoln McClutchy, only 5 meters out from the line. It's going to be another advantage here. Flick back Tom Robertson off to Fergus Lee Warner. This is not looking too good now for Moana Pasifika. Going to have to shut this one down extremely quickly or else they'll be in trouble. Richard Kau, he tries to step, fires the offload to Manasa Mateali. Luckily for Moana Pasifika, he does end up slipping. But now nice step. And that will be the try for, it's going to be Jackson Pure, in fact, who has been able to go over and also watch New Zealand team to your support. Says Hanley, I always struggle to pick one, to be honest, just because I love watching all of them play. Currently, in terms of location-wise, it should be Highlanders or Crusaders. But, you know, it's an interesting one because I do enjoy watching all of those North Island teams playing as well. And at least Aussie A could provide a little challenge in the Pacific Nations Cup, especially when Fiji is like Italy and Scotland put together. So somebody says, and also we have got the NHL have ruined international hockey. This is what it all comes down to. Shameful, says Sebastian. But yeah, it's like you said, it's almost taken away from an international, like, prestigious comp because, like, all contracts lock players in because they don't want them getting injured elsewhere. Which I feel like if you're running off pure worrying of whether or not they're going to get injured, like, it just limits the players a lot. Like, are they allowed to leave the house just in case they fall down some steps? Well, they probably shouldn't leave the house wearing their ice skates if they're just going, you know, downtown. And also called the opening up of the game. Says Andre there, and also we've got there, which would make NRL and NHL birds of the same feather. Says Sammy Sosa, but that now is going to be converted, and the score will be 41-21. So down by 20 now. It's a good run forward from Jackson Pugh, just uses that size. He was actually the first initial man getting it moving. In fact, sorry, that was a lie. It was Tamansky who did get the first movement going. And Jackson Pugh able to score it. Santiago Marano's looking pretty decent in the early stages of this match also. Now, that one has not gone. Geez, that one's not gone 10. That is a rarity in a union game. Normally, we do see that in the sevens when you do try and only get it about the 10 meters. But it looks like Lolagi Vizinier, Latiro Talay, Jack Lamb, Iritare Inari, Chris Apoa, and then Kalamatangi, I think, is one of the only players who they can actually bring onto the field in the later stages of this match for Moana Pasifika. And now it does seem like a couple other changes being made. Tom Robertson off for the Western Force. And working hard throughout the early stages of the match. You're the Wallabies coach. You can choose 3 NRL players to bring over to Union. Who you're choosing? Oh, only 3. Ooh, okay. That's very difficult. That is extremely hard. So I would probably, see, I'm trying to think of what positions. That's going to be the penalty for the Western Force as well. Yeah, what positions do the Australians need help in? I feel like the forward pack I probably don't really know well enough, but I think they're going all right there. Or also, I would probably go 3 backs. Bring them in. I'll probably go, I'll go, how old's Josh Adokar? Because it's that whole side of things as well of how many seasons you're going to get out of them to make it worth doing. It's going to be taken beautifully by Moana Pasifika. And Brian To'o, he's been looking very good at the moment. So he might, it's hard. Because just picking 3, you're pretty much saying, who do I want to commit to the other craft? I'd probably bring in Tom Travojevic, just because I feel like he could bring a lot to the Wallabies. Maybe you go Josh Adokar out on the wing if you just want to use some pure pace up against some opposition. And then the third name you probably look at is maybe another fullback option. Maybe you go Ryan Pappenhazen, I guess. That's very tricky to choose. Who are your three, Xavier? Do let me know. Did any of the ones that I say also come into your mind as options? And in fact, that's a question for everyone. If you had to pick 3 Australian players to go into the Australian international team from league to union, who would you go with? Do let me know. But now, hang on to it, just about 35 metres out from the line now. William Havili going to get shut down relatively quickly. See, that's the thing. The Panthers have probably got quite a few players who you could consider switching over as well. Like, how would Nathan Cleary go? As much as he seems to be hated by a lot of people, he would be probably a decent option for patrolling that back line. Now trying to go around the side, Manu Paia. Travojevic wasn't that great this season. It feels like his last season was a one-off. And then also we've got the Adokar Turbo and Pappenhazen. I would have been my picks as well. So here's Sammy Sosa. So yeah, hopefully Travojevic does find his rhythm again. Because like you mentioned, Sea Eagles this year, I think the reason they did so well last year was because he was able to just do everything really. And then he ended up playing for the Blues for State of Origin, and he also seemed to continue it. I was like 20 points difference, says Chris. It is currently, but Moana Pasifika have got themselves another attacking opportunity in a very short moment to possibly add a couple more points. Drive through your jumper. It's the comment from the referee there. So I guess so the thing, set plays haven't been the smoothest for either side on this matchup. That's going to be a nice one there. And see One Tui Palotu driving the legs. He's just short of the line. And now round the side, going to this near side here. Manu Paia. Oh, no, it's been put down. As a mistake. What about the ABs who you're taking from league? Says Xavier. That one's probably a little bit trickier as there's not really the hugest pull in the world, I guess you could say. And Force already flexing their muscles. This is going to have Actually, James Tedesco will be New South Wales fullback undoubtedly. Here's another player I wouldn't mind seeing in Union if I had to take him. Old James Travojevic. I feel like he was one of the reasons that I really love watching the Roosters play. Israel Folau, Aloti Takiri, Wenda Sailor, Matt Rogers, a few more. So here's Nathan there as well. So I guess New Zealand-wise, I mean, who would I go with for the Kiwis? Can I say that Roger Tuivasa-Sheck is one, just as a bit of a cop-out because he's already possibly going to do so, but he hasn't done it yet? So I'll probably go Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. I mean, I don't know if Sean Johnson does get in, to be honest. It'd be all right, but I don't know where you'll put him. Is a tricky thing for the All Blacks. You could take a winger, maybe, but then saying that they've probably got enough wingers currently. You got any locks for New Zealand that might be useful? Because we're currently running a little bit low on locks at this point in time. But now, 5 metres out from their line here, the Western Force. Oh, there's a random arm that went up in the air. And also ABs for me would be Tamil, Caleb Ponga, and eventually Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. Says Sammy Sosa, yeah, Ponga would be a good choice. And then Tamo, hopefully I've said that correctly. Is he still playing for the Warriors or is he somewhere else now? I know that makes me sound like an idiot, but I can't quite remember at this point in time. Don't know. My brain's gone blank at the moment. I feel like I've heard that many names in the last couple of weeks, definitely with the sevens coming back as well. If I was thinking of penalty to Moana Pasifika 5 metres out from the line, and they are fired up now. Yeah, I guess sevens players. Who from the sevens would you put into the All Blacks for Australia-wise and also New Zealand-wise? Do let me know. Because for me, the likes of a Kitione Vai or a Caleb Tangitau seem to be the next up-and-coming generation for the All Black Sevens side. And then also, I mean, you've got a few other very capable players in that side. It's just that question of how they would go in Union. A few of the players have actually been playing a bit of Union recently. Now, Lincoln McClutchy kicks it for touch and 5 metres out from the line now. It will be another line out here for Moana Pasifika. Looks like a couple more changes being made, but they need 3 converted tries in the next 20 minutes. That is a lie. It's actually 13 minutes now. Now, other way, what ABs would be good at league. Or now the other way, what ABs would be good at league. Oh. Okay, so I know that people have rumoured Geordie Barrett as a good option because of that safety under the high ball, and also he's got quite a bit of size. So I guess it depends on the position. Caleb Clark, I would say, would be pretty decent in league just because he has got that big frame and also got plenty of pace to go with it. I think someone like, I know that TJ Perenara was rumoured for league a little while ago. I feel like he wouldn't go too bad other than maybe like he would be one of the smaller players there on the field. That's going to be nicely done. Kira Ioane, I think, would go pretty decently at league as well. Maybe Hoskins Tutu. I think I've just listed about every single player from the Blues, haven't I, now that I think about it? Other than TJ Perenara, that's going to be another penalty to Moana Pasifika. Imagine Scott Barrett playing league. That would be scary for anyone who goes up against him because he doesn't like to tackle low half the time. So he probably fit in quite well, to be fair. But now Moana Pasifika taking the quick tap. Only a few meters out for the line now. And now off to Sione Tuipolotu. Meter short of the line now. It looks like Manu Paia might be trying to snipe it. Instead goes off to Kalamatangi. He is over. And Moana Pasifika, they just won't quite give up. And this match, and also we will get the Wallabies need someone like Jason Taumalolo smashing Ops D's defense in there as well. Says it was Nathan there. But yeah, it will be interesting because that's the thing. As Australia continue to improve in rugby union, I feel like there might be a few league players who do consider the jump. Like, not a huge pool. Overall, I feel like there will only be a few. And also, would Hooper do anything in the NRL? I mean, the good news with Hooper is that work rate is very good and he's got very good fitness. So I feel like he would cover a lot of ground. I don't know whether or not he would be, I guess, a standout in league though, which sounds really harsh because I mean we see what he does in union and he's brilliant, but I don't know whether or not league is his game just because one of his specialties is that breakdown, and straight away in the NRL you take away that breakdown from him, which is something that he just loves like as a part of rugby union. I was like, go Moana, says they made sure, and that one has gone over as well. So now the score, they need 2 converted tries in the next 10 minutes of this match, and league is to me, is running union as tackles. And there says Novmum. Now Rejan Pasatoa to kick this one off. 11 minutes or so left. Kyle Goldwyn off the field. That is for Jake McIntyre. And he tried to keep that one in the field of play there for the Western Force, Manasa Mateli. But instead now it is back in the hands of Moana Pasifika. And I believe they're going back for the initial advantage. Yes, they are. Fergus Lee Warner, he didn't really want to give the ball up there. He's trying to use it as much as he could, but it was a forward one from Manasa Mateli, which does now mean that we go back for the scrum. But as the Western Force sit currently, if they do win this game, they will be able to get themselves 18 points on the board compared to the Highlanders' 22. Whereas if the Western Force get themselves an extra try here, we'll be interested to see. I don't watch rugby without the maul, nor the rugby scrum. There as well, says MH Joy. Although the scrums in NRL or just rugby league in general, I think they're uncontested, aren't they? They're just kind of the 3-man commit. Similar to actually it's not even similar to rugby sevens, because rugby sevens, they do actually push in there. So I guess it's more about setting up for that set play. Okay, Manu Paia at the moment having a bit of a dance. He is loving this game at the moment. Also, Craig Cooper wanted to play NRL last year, but he said he would be too old. How would he go right now? Says Xavier. I think it would be a little bit similar to back in the day for Quade Cooper, how everyone would target him. I think that's why Perenara also considered staying with Union, is because as a player who comes from Union, like the first thing that anyone wants to do is put a massive shot into you and say, welcome to the NRL or welcome to rugby league. And then that always makes you hesitant, because Quade Cooper, we've seen when they do end up like kind of putting a bit more pressure on him, that is when he can throw those cutout passes that sometimes go wrong. And scrums and rugby union, rugby league are just for image. And there's says Sebastian, and also get the old ladies on boards NRL. Says he made sure that's going to be a free kick now to the Western Force, and that is a big call because Moana Pasifika, they certainly needed that one to go their way. I think Joe Apakatoa is not too happy with that. And League, you can't push on the scrums, but the ball comes out. So far, so no point. And there's Xavier. And also we have got there, I hated playing Union. Too much works. League was easy, run it up, play the ball. My work's done, says Nathan for that one. And I know that at school, like out of the two types of playing, like, because I know that at lunchtime, like you probably weren't supposed to be playing them, but people still did. So you either played touch league if you weren't allowed to do tackling, or it would be league at the lunchtime break rather than union, just because of the fact that it's like, it's nice and simple to be able to play it no matter who you are, if that makes sense. Like you can get anyone, put them out there, say, right, run it at the line. If you get touched, then you roll it through your legs. We've got 5 phases, and then after that, we've got to give it to the opposition. Rather than union that you can have like 20 phases in a row, and you just sit there going time and time again until they get the turnover, which like I feel like is pretty tricky to police at schoolboy level. Like I actually used to do a lot of the refereeing because I was one of the like guys who actually understood how it worked type thing. Like a lot of people were just like, right, we'll do the 5 and then we'll just run it again. And then they'll be confused when you say that it was a handover. But yeah, I think it was one of those ones that it used to be touch league was the one that they'd go with for school. And also most old people in Australia prefer union, but young people in Australia prefer league. And as I says Xavier, but that looks like now Ian Pryor, his night is going to be done. And coming onto the field now, I believe it's Michael McDonald, who actually was put as one of the names coming on a lot earlier than he did. I believe about 20 minutes ago, they said that sub was made. But it will be the scrum feed now for Moana Pasifika. Oh, it's a free kick now. And Manapoia takes it quickly, offloading it back to Sione Tuipulotu. So they want to keep this ball alive and well here for the Moana Pasifika side. Now Waikato pass off to Naria Fuma'i. Going to be using some of that speed. He just tries to run straight over the top of Kyle Godwin. In fact, it was Brad Lacey who did have to make the tackle in the end. And now 40 metres out from the line, still driving for Moana Pasifika. Oh, ripped away, brilliantly done, but it's going back for the penalty as the knee was down before it was stripped. And now it's a big decision for Moana Pasifika, whether or not you go with the line out or the scrum. I think they will go with the line out, though. I think that's Naria Fama'i who's down at the moment. I was trying to look at him from side on because he was laying down. One now going into touch from William Havili. Now with 74 minutes gone in this matchup, seems like 2 more converted tries that also we have got there. They need 2 tries to win, but not much time, says Chris. So yeah, if they score now, it will be massive for them in terms of that comeback starting. And also Moana Pasifika need 2 tries to win the game, says Christian. And 2 converted tries, I should mention as well. Now it goes in, and it is going to be taken nicely off the back. Driving forward, it is going to be Finau. It is Pinatai Finau as well, finding the offload to Levi Amua. In fact, it wasn't much of an offload. It was more Levi Amua ripped it off him and said, I want to have another go at the line here. 10 metres out, Manapoia gets the offload up now. William Havili finding a flick pass up to Lincoln McClutchy. He's over. And I think that's going to be the try for Moana Pasifika. And this could be the start of a monumental Harlequins-esque comeback like we were talking about earlier on. But nicely done. 75. Oh, they checking something? Checking this pass to see whether or not it is forward. Will there be added time? Lincoln McClutchy actually goes for the drop kick. I think he might have missed it though. But I think because they're going upstairs, I don't think it counted. Let's go. Come on, lads. One more try. There's Christian there. So it's going to be the pop pass of William Havili. I think that's, for me, that's flat, but I think it's fine. And I was like, let's go, says Chris. And there as well. And will there be any added time? Only if we end up with it being a complete draw, which is unlikely with the way that the match is sitting currently. See, I think that's gone. Oh. They might be checking for obstruction here, unfortunately, for Henry Taiafu. And you'd have to say that maybe with him getting involved, sadly, that might have created the gap. No try. Due to obstruction, it is a penalty to the Western Force. And also, nice Moana, let's go. Says Nathan. But unfortunately for them, it is going to be getting taken away. And also, what says Christian? So the forward pass, it was backwards, so that was fine. But then because of a little bit of obstruction, pretty much, what's the best way of doing it? These are my fingers, ladies and gentlemen. So this is, we'll go from this angle. That's one of the defenders, and that's Kyle Godwin. Then running forward, we'll go this way. This is Henry Tai, or this is, what's his face? William Harvili. This is Henry Taifu. So pretty much as it came in, as he was running, Henry Taifu cut over there, which then meant there was a bit of a crossover. That was a terrible diagram. I should have just drawn a picture, shouldn't I? And come on, says Christian. Also unfortunate, but fair as well, says Sebastian. But now Pasatoa does drive forward, and the Western Force, they will be enjoying having this position back for the next little while. Now going back across Fergus Lee Warner. In fact, sorry, it's Isaac Rodder did come off the bench not too long ago. Now McDonald goes back to Rejan Pasatoa. Nice draw and pass with the Manasa Mateeli. Now pass on the outside. It's gone through the hands. And now Moana Pasifika, they've got it back, and it is Fini Anisi. Starting to drive, finds the offload on the inside. And Moana Pasifika, they've got another chance. Super Rugby needs to be 22 weeks, not 14 weeks. Everyone played twice. And there, hopefully, eventually, we do get to that stage. I think that, like, there was initially going to be those games that you play up against everyone. And then you've also got your kind of, what's it called? Your, I guess, teams that you get to play multiple times. And hopefully it does get to that stage of being able to have more. Come on, boys. And there as well, now looking for the offload, Moana Pasifika. They've got 3.5 minutes left, and they need to get over the try line twice. And it looks like they're taking the momentum. And at the later stages of this game, Lincoln McClutchy offloads it. Last thing they want is a penalty against them, though. Now Alex McRobbie. Manu Paya goes back to William Harvili, this time looking for the head offload, and he is able to do so. Now flicking it back, Lincoln McClutchy tries to link up. It's gone in behind. We TikTok. And there says Tony. Kicked him behind. William Harvili waiting for the ball to bounce up. He's taken it beautifully. Now offloads it and come off the boot of Lincoln McClutchy. So it is currently play on. Rezan Pasatoa has picked it up, and he will be allowed to kick it as far downfield as he physically can. And that's a good kick. A brilliant kick, in fact, because now Naria Fumai will have to go about 80 meters to be able to get his side over the line. Come on, boys, says Christian as well. Now Fini Anisi. Last time he had a run, it was impressive. He's just offloaded it straight into the hands of the Western Force, though. And now only 2.5 minutes left in this match. Flick pass on the inside. Bo Ebra looks for the offload as well. It's back on the side of Moana Pasifika. Everyone's just having a seesaw. And William Harvili kicks it downfield. He's only got it down to halfway, though. And Brad Lacey has now taken it. It's a rough pass. Bit of control from Rejan Pasatoa. Now off to Manasa Mateeli. If they score once more, it will make it a lot closer. And Manasa Mateeli links up with Kyle Godwin. He will go in for the try. And I believe that is the bonus point back on the table for the Western Force. And that gets them just a little bit closer to being able to make their way in to the the quarterfinals, in fact. And also, I'm going to go sleep the Force win. Says Christian there. And 5th try for Kyle Godwin of the year. Coming off the bench in this matchup, but Byron Ralston, bit of silky skills, flicks it out the back to Bo Abra. And it was taken straight back by Moana Pasifika there. Manasa Mateeli uses his pace. They were trying to cover the pass on the inside, but instead on the outside, Kyle Godwin was there. And he was able to get it. And the Western Force, like I mentioned, last couple of weeks, they have had 50 points put on them each game. This week, seems like they are almost going to be the side who are able to bring up that 50. But Godwin was able to go in for the try. Now straight out in front, Michael McDonald gets it over. And it's interesting, the Western Force, they do have their halfback as the kicker pretty much no matter what at this point in time. But now 79 minutes through, the Moana Pasifika side, if they can't win this game, which they cannot from here, they'll want a last-minute try because that will at least mean that the Western Force are one more point behind going into the next stages. But that now means that all the Western Force need is a bonus point win and they might end up being able to overtake the Highlanders as long as the Highlanders lose their next game, which is taking place this weekend. Kicked off short. Western Force take it nicely. Currently 48-28. The way it is sitting, and Force will be on 19. And this is Novum, and I believe the Highlanders currently are on 22, aren't they? Moana still a long way to go. Yes, Tony, although that's the thing. First season for them, it was always going to be tough because, like, a lot of these players haven't actually played together other than this season. They're kind of scattered throughout all of the provincial sides, which is why it was always going to be tough. But I do like the foundation that Moana Pasifika have got for themselves. It's going to be now in the hands of Michael McDonald. Fires it into the pocket. It's an awkward one for Pasatoa, but he does kick it out. And that is now going to be the end of this matchup. 48-28 in favour of the Western Force. And also we've got the Slanders on 22, says Nathan. So yeah, the Highlanders, they're going to have to make sure that they do manage to win their game. So we'll let you guys know the games that are coming up for Super Rugby this weekend. And they will include the following. It is going to be Crusaders taking on the Reds. Fijian Drua versus the Chiefs. Moana Pasifika versus the Brumbies. Waratahs versus the Blues. Then Force versus Hurricanes. And it will not be until that game happens between the Western Force and the Hurricanes that we will know whether or not the Highlanders are in jeopardy of losing their spot in the top 8. And if they are not in that top 8, possibly, you've still got that game on the Friday, or the Sunday, sorry, between the Rebels and the Highlanders, and Hurricanes will beat the Force. And then, well, that was unexpected, says Krish there as well. Yeah, good performance from the Western Force, winning it 48-28. And also, I'm going back to supporting Blues and the Hurricanes, says Richard there. Although it's one of those ones, they are still very early on in their Super Rugby. They were never going to be a champion in the very first year. Same with the Fijian Draw, but it's how they kind of come back from the season that we're going to just keep on waiting a little bit further. And a couple years' time, Moana Pasifika could certainly be near the top of the bunch. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hope you guys did enjoy this Tuesday game of rugby. We will be back for Super Rugby this weekend, as well as the London Sevens and everything along those lines. Champions Cup final as well, I believe, is taking place between La Rochelle and Leicester. And another awesome commentary by the Kiwi lads. So much take care, buddy. Says Nathan, you too, mate. And Bro Fiji, and it's all good, but Moana, hell nah, says a Richard. Although the way that the table sits, the difference between the two sides is not massive for this one. Like, I believe if I look at the table, Fiji and Drua, they've won one extra game over the Moana Pasifika side, but they've actually conceded more points than Moana Pasifika. And then also, we've got there, but thank you for the stream, says a Richard there. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all for the next one.